Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga Detour. I'm Cecily and I'll be your instructor today. We're going to be getting into some shoulder strength and especially emphasizing the back side of the shoulders. There's so much pushing dominance in the yoga practice, so today we're going to look at the other side of the body and balance things out. I look forward to you joining me. So we're going to start by coming down onto our mats and then rolling over onto one side. Support your head here comfortably, either on your arm or you can grab a yoga block or pillow and rest your head on that instead. I'm going to take the top arm and reach it out in front of me so it's about at shoulder height. And then keeping my shoulders stacked, my hips stacked, my arms straight, I'm just going to start to lift that arm up into the air. And the idea is that I'm looking to keep a very consistent pattern here with that movement. So as the arm lifts, it's like the muscles on the underside of my shoulder blade are doing the pulling work to lift the arm up. It's not so much coming from the top of my arm up here, it's coming from the back, the area where I can't see. And you know what they say about out of sight, out of mind? This is why it's so important to find the right movements and exercises that get us in touch with that area of the body. All right, and we're going to turn over onto the other side, and I'm going to show you what that looks like from the back. Okay, so you can see that as my arm lifts, my shoulder blade rolls right into my back, and then it lifts a little bit off the rib cage as the arm comes down. And it's that movement around my shoulder blade muscles that we're trying to reinforce. Getting it moving, but also getting it stabilized. And you could be doing this for upwards of 10 or 12 repetitions for a few sets. You could even be doing this with a small weight in your hand, adding a bit of extra load. And then we're going to move on to the front of the body. And as you come onto the belly, take the forehead down towards the floor, and then we'll reach the arms out wide toward the side. And the idea here is to get the arms to now move at the same time, lifting them up off the floor, and then squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then bringing the hands back down to the mat or to the floor. I'm really working here to keep my bum on, my glutes are engaging, to drive my hips into the floor so I'm not doing a big back bend. And keeping my lower back comfortable, which you might even find is helpful with knees bent. And then continuing to move the arms in sort of that flying pattern where they move down and the shoulder blades initiate to lift back up. And after a few reps, again 10 or maybe a few more than that, you'll start to feel some real lighting up happening in that same area in the back of the shoulder blade. Noticing there, hopefully, that it's helping the chest open up as well. Okay, and then let the head rest on the hands. Let the legs come down and just let things wiggle out a little bit. Take a couple of breaths just to rest. And then we're going to start again over on that first side. And this time I'm going to have my elbow bending. What can sometimes be helpful if you feel like this is an awkward position is to roll up a washcloth or a little towel and put it here in your waist just to support the elbow. Because now my goal is going to be to keep that elbow totally still and simply rotate from my shoulder to get those fingers to point straight up. And then I keep my shoulder in place as the hand goes back down. And I initiate again from the back of the shoulder to rotate my upper arm bone to point the fingers back up. As we repeat this, the idea will be to find that sense of isolation, that work, right in the back side of the shoulder. So again, I'll show you what that looks like on the other side. Setting up the elbow, keeping that elbow in place right in the midline there of my waist, and then rotating without lifting the elbow any higher. And right there, if I really squeeze, I can feel that work right in the back of my shoulder. And then lowering down. And just repeating a few reps again, just feeling whether or not you can isolate that work. Keeping that sense of control through the elbow, not working with the wrist at all, keeping it straight. And if you've elected to use a little bit of a weight, by now you might be getting a little bit fatigued. So then we'll roll back onto the stomach, just like before. But this time, set ourselves up again with bent elbows. Elbows here about 90 degrees in line with the shoulders. And then I want to lift both arms up again. And now I'm going to pull those elbows back, sort of making a W shape behind me with the elbows. And if as you did that, you felt some crunching again in your lower back, reinforce that pressure of the bum engaging to push the hips down and bring a little bit of abdominal engagement into the action so that as I lift, it's not about bringing movement into my spine, it's just about moving through the shoulder blades. So I squeeze down and come back up. As the elbows pull away from my shoulders, the crown of the head lengthens out toward the front of my mat. So I'm keeping the spine nice and long and starting to feel lots of awesome activation through the underarms and down into my lats, where we're gonna go next. So the arms from here will straighten, and then just let the head come down for a second, take a couple breaths. And then as the head comes back up, I keep my arms straight, my palms are lifted toward the ceiling. I'm gonna send those arms up high as I can behind me, and then without bending the elbows, pulse the arms in, like the thumbs are trying to reach each other. Let's do 10 of those. Working to keep the elbows from bending and lengthening out through the top of the head. Feeling the backs, the arms turning on. One more, hold it there, take a breath, reach long through the fingertips, and then come back down to rest. All right, one more here on our front. We're gonna swing the arms forward in front of us. Make sure you got enough space around you. And now it's sort of like you're gonna channel your inner swimmer. So, keeping the body nice and long, I'm gonna take my arms and lift them up off the mat. And then from there, reach them wide and rotate them all the way back, palms lifting. Then from here, I'm gonna cross my wrists, trying to keep the hands off my body, just for a moment, and then rest everything down. And then everything lifts back up. Reaches back, reaches wide, lifting the arms up nice and high, think thumbs up, and come back down. We'll do that one more time, reaching the arms up, opening wide, keeping that back nice and long, no crunching, use your glutes, reaching back, elbows bend, cross, rest. Lift and hover, reach them back, keep them high, all the way forward, thumbs up, and come down. And then we'll come up back onto the hands and knees, getting ourselves sorted in all fours. Okay, now I'm going to use all that shoulder strength to create a nice big circle with just one arm at a time. So my right arm will support me here, keeping it straight, left arm will lift, palm is lifting to begin with, and then arm rotates all the way back. And as I create this circle, the idea is to use the strength of my right arm to not allow my body to sink towards the floor. And then I'll change direction. Just noticing how the shoulders feel now after that work we did. And then the hand will come back down. I use that left arm for support. Rather than sinking into the shoulder, I protract. Right arm goes forward, up, and back. Elbow there, staying nice and straight. Reaching through the fingertips, keeping the torso pointing toward the floor. I change directions. Let's do two more. And then come down to take a rest. Finding a comfortable seat or moving into child's pose or downward facing dog. Can you feel how much work that is? I can. So we want to use these types of movements in our practice on a regular basis to zero in on those muscles that are often underused when we focus more so on the front, on the chest. So I hope you feel a little bit more balanced, maybe a little more tired, but that's okay. And I'll see you next time to follow the detour. Thanks for watching.